All right, so let's go ahead and get started. Go ahead and write writing equations in slope-intercept form at the top of your page. Now this week we've been talking all about writing lines, right? So we learned that there are two ways that you can write a line in an equation. The first way is called standard form. Standard form. So I'll put that up here. So standard form is going to be AX plus BY is equal to C. If you took Algebra 1, you've probably seen this before. The X and the Y are going to be variables, but the A, B, and C are all going to be capital letters. They all stand for whole numbers. So A, B, and C are going to be whole numbers. The second way that you can write a line is called slope-intercept form. Slope-intercept form. And this is the one that's going to be most important to us because we're going to be talking about it today. Slope-intercept form is going to be y equals mx plus b. You've definitely seen this before if you took Algebra 1 before. As usual, the x and the y are going to be variables, but the m and the b are going to be numbers. So let's talk about what m is and what b is. M is going to be the slope. You've probably heard of that before. That's just going to be a number, a real number. And B is going to be the Y-intercept. The Y-intercept. I'm going to shorten that with the INT. So the M is always going to be a number, and the B is always going to be a number. Okay, so how do you find slope? There are two ways that you can find slope. There is the slope formula, where you subtract the y's on top, y2 minus y1, and then we're going to divide all that by x2 minus x1. This is called the slope formula. The other way that we can find slope is called rise over run. So let's write that down. This is the second way that we can find slope. And it's going to be the one that we're going to be using today. It's called rise over run. So the rise is going to be on top in the numerator. That just means how far up you need to go to get to the next point. But run is going to be in the denominator, the bottom of the fraction. That's how far to the right you need to go to get to the next point. Okay, everybody got this? Okay, so we're going to solve every question today in a three-step process. The first step is to find B. We're going to find B first. And as you know, B is the Y-intercept. We're going to look and see where the line crosses the Y-axis. Usually that's going to be a whole number, no fractions, so that won't be a problem for you. After you find B, we're going to find M, the slope. So I'm going to write find M, the slope. And we're going to find it using rise over run. That's going to be our slope formula for today. M equals rise over run. And then once you found B and M, the last thing that you need to do is put your answer in y equals mx plus b form. So you're going to write y equals mx plus b. And I'll leave that up there for you guys to copy down. But it's very simple. It's just a 3-step process for every single question we're going to do today. We're going to be doing number 1 first on these 2 pages. Okay, does everybody have these 3 steps written down? Okay, good. So let's go ahead and take a look at number 1. Okay, number 1 is up there. Good. I'm gonna see if I can zoom in on it. There we go. Let's look at number 1. The first thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna figure out what B is. Where does it cross the y-axis? Where does this line cross the y-axis? 3. It's going to cross the y-axis right here at 3. So I'm going to put a dot on the y-intercept. The dot is going to go right here. And I made it kind of big so you can see it. Once you got your dot down, we're going to write down B equals 3. B equals 3. That's going to be my y-intercept. The next thing that I'm going to do is I need one more point. You can put the point anywhere, but it needs to be on the line. So I'm going to put a point at the x-intercept. Where does the line cross the x-axis? -2. That's right. So I'm going to put my last dot on this -2 right here. So now that you got your 2 dots written down, we want to figure out the slope between those 2 points. We're going to use rise over run. So we're always going to start at the left point, right here. And we're going to finish off at the right point, up here. And the 2 questions that you're going to be asking yourself is how far up do I need to go to get to the next point? And how far to the right do I need to go to get to the next point? So let's count it off. How far up do I need to go? 1, 2, 3. So my rise is going to be on top of the fraction. That's going to be 3. See how I have rise over run? My rise is going to be 3 because I need to go up 3 to get to the next point. Now, what is my run going to be? That's how far to the right I need to go. How far to the right do I need to go to get from this point to this point? 2. Yep. So I'm going to put a 2 in the bottom of the fraction. What's 3 divided by 2? That's going to be a fraction, right? Not a whole number. So I'm going to leave this as a fraction. The last thing that I need to do is write my answer as y equals mx plus b. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to write y equals mx. That's going to be 3 over 2 times x. And then I need to add my b at the end, which is 3. So that's going to be my answer. Y equals 3/2 x plus 3. Which answer choice best answers this? C. So I'm going to circle C. We're going to try number 2 next. Go ahead and try number 2 and see if you can get it before me. The first thing that you're going to do for number 2 is figure out what the y-intercept is. That's going to be where the line crosses the y-axis, the vertical line. It's going to cross at -2. So I'm going to put a dot there, and I'm going to write b equals -2. B equals -2. Next, I need one more point to figure out what the slope is. Now, it's kind of hard to tell, but I'm going to put my point right here at 3,2. That's the only point where I know for sure that the line is going to cross through it. So now you're going to ask yourself, how far up do I need to go to get to that point? And how far to the right do I need to go to get to that point? So M is going to be rise over run. How far up do I need to go? 4. So my top is going to be 4. How far to the right do I need to go? 3. So my run is going to be 3. So my M is going to be equal to 4 divided by 3. And what's 4 divided by 3? We don't know. It's a decimal, a fraction, so we're going to leave it as a fraction. The last thing that we're going to do is we're going to write y equals mx plus b. 4/3 x minus 2. Notice we always put the slope beside the x. That's always going to happen. And our y-intercept always goes off to the side like this. So which answer choice best represents the graph? A. Circle A. Okay. The last one that we're going to do together is number 4. So we're going to skip down to number 4. So for number 4, the first thing that we need to do is figure out the y-intercept. Where does it cross the y-axis? 1. Put a dot at 1. And we're going to write b equals 1. That's the y-intercept. What's another point that we can use? 3 on the x-axis. Good. So I'm going to put a dot right here at 3,0. So now my slope is going to be rise over run as usual. And I need to figure out how far up or down I need to go to get to the next point. How far down do I need to go? 1. So my rise is going to be -1 since I'm going down. Because I'm going down, my number is going to be negative. That's new. Okay, so now how far to the right do I need to go? 3. So it's going to be a +3. My slope is -1/3. So now I'm going to write it in y equals mx plus b. I'm going to choose -1/3 x plus 1. And I'm done. What did you choose for your answer? It's going to be D. My slope is negative 1/3. Oh, you couldn't see it. My bad. Yeah, it's going to be D. My slope is negative 1/3, and my y-intercept is going to be positive 1. So now go ahead and try the rest of these 10 questions. And when you get done, you're going to staple your papers together over there at the side table.